Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
Wow, the last team remaining, the Boston Red Sox, the last team to not sign a free agent. Here we are, standing tall after the Colorado Rockies bring in Michael Lorenzen on a 1-year, $8 million deal. Shout out to Marty Mush, who broke the news, tweeting, make sure you cite me. I've got Michael Lorenzen to the A's. Source me. For 2 hours later for him to sign with the Rockies.
Was that what was that real?
Mm-hmm.
What a fucking moron.
Yeah. Hubs tweeted something like, Edward Cabrera to the Yankees, like done deal. and then Marty tweeted Lorenzen to the A's. Make sure you cite me when it happens.
I was gonna say, I mean, is that Marty trolling fucking what you call it?
No. Like, trolling. How could he have possibly known that Michael Lorenzen was going to sign a contract in the next 2 hours?
No, I meant him saying that about, like, what tweet came first from which person?
Hubs never said, like, it's happening, but he was like,
you said done deal.
Yeah, but he tweeted something to the effect of, like, he named the prospects and was like, this thing's at the finish line. And then Heyman afterwards was like, it was nowhere close. Like, the Yankees were nowhere close to an Edward Cabrera deal. And then, yeah, Marty last night tweeted Lorenzen to the A's, make sure you cite me when it happens. And then 2 hours later, he signed with the Rockies. I mean, close enough, right? You know? Just two shitbag franchises.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, I think it's fair to say that headed and steadily headed in two very different directions.
Sure. Eventually. Right.
No, I mean, that's real. Those are facts.
I mean, not anytime soon.
One is quite literally headed in a different direction.
Are you allowed to? I feel like can you not even like call yourself the Vegas A's? What's going on with that? Do you got an update? Boots on the ground?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's...
what are you guys going to do?
Well,
the Sin City A's?
If you read anything... First of all, you could... I mean, the guys in the last dive bar laid it out. They're like, look, we never had the rights. What we did, and this is what they were talking about, is we made the effort, we made the move to just, you know, be ahead of the curve, if you will, and apply for those trademarks or whatever. You know, and whether it was knowing full well that they would hit the hurdles that they did, hit the speed bumps, the roadblocks that they did.
Yeah.
This is that fan group taking the stance that they've taken since the news broke so many years ago about what the transition was going to be. And so, yeah, I mean, and
what do you
think if you read the article,
so like the A's applied for the Vegas A's and the Las Vegas Athletics and they got denied. Why?
Well, it's because the term, from what I understand reading, the term athletics, right, was too vague. And the idea that there is not a, I don't want to call it a stable presence, but like a deeply rooted presence yet. And,
tangible.
Well, tangible, I guess you could say, because there's presence in terms of an office, there's presence in terms of the experience center. Like it's understood that there is physical presence of the organization in Las Vegas. There's no denying that. But I think it's just a matter of, well, you haven't played here yet and you don't have a stronghold here yet. So this is going to take some looking into. But from what I understand, Major League Baseball has said, this isn't the first time that teams have encountered these sort of hiccups when it comes to trademarking, things like this. And typically at the end of the day, this stuff gets worked out. So I think this was more just a big to-do about the position that the fan group, Last Dive Bar, the position that they had taken initially. I mean, this was done in what, 2024? This was done while the team was still in Oakland.
Jayhay?
No, I was just going to say, like, I think the interesting part about this, and DB, correct me, but like, I think it just creates another awkward period, right, where they can call themselves the Las Vegas Athletics. They can market themselves as the Las Vegas Athletics, but in theory, other teams, other entities can profit off of also selling Las Vegas Athletics stuff because they don't yet have the trademark, because they don't yet have the connection to the city or establish the connection that's needed for the panel, right? And when they do, it'll probably be fine. It's just how many years in between is that, or how much time elapses in between where they're vulnerable to that kind of stuff, right?
Right. Like if us three wanted to go and set up a pop-up shop on the Strip and sell Las Vegas Athletics attire or gear or whatever, I don't know that there would be anything stopping us from doing that.
Yeah,
right?
we should do that. When we launch the BID merch store in 2026.
Can we do it? Will we do it before it's accepted, before their claim's accepted?
Yeah, I think we should sell Las Vegas Athletics merch, and there's no one that can sue us because no one has the rights.
Yeah, because as soon as that would happen, like as soon as those trademarks and everything are approved, which eventually will happen, that's when the C&D letters start getting fired off, right? Like, hey,
so we're in a
just
window.
want to let you know.
We're in a window right now where we can sell the shit out of Las Vegas A's products.
I guess so.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it. Put it on the BID merch store.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to be leading that charge. Just want to get that out there.
All right, that's fine. You're not getting cut in then. Me and Jayhay are going to be swimming in Las Vegas A's money, blood money.
Yeah, but look, and this is what baseball fans appreciate, and if you have understood the relationship and the back and forth between the Last Dive Bar and between the athletics organization, you understood that there was always going to be this sort of conflict or this sort of approach to things, because nothing's going to change about how the fan base feels, right? Like that is going to be persistent. They feel slighted. They feel a certain way. They feel like they've been robbed. And again, I'm nobody to tell anybody how to feel about those situations. With that being said, it's understood that, business is going to carry on. Business is going to move on. And you're going to do what you can do as a fan base to say, hey, man, like, we still love our team. And until there's a pitch thrown in that ballpark, this is how we're going to look at things. This is how we're going to process things.
Yeah. It doesn't sound very easy. But I do know that Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. I do know that.
Perhaps the easiest.
Mm-hmm. I would it's my personal opinion. I know that it's subjective, but it's my personal opinion that it is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. And it has been for a long time. At least for the last half decade, I would say. Make sure you sign up with the promo code Jared. That's JARED to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Jared. I think I'm going to be putting some picks out for the Patriots.
Stop it.
What? It's the playoffs, brother.
Yeah.
I know you don't know what that is, but it's a very exciting time of the year.
Bro, I was in Whole Foods yesterday, and this dude next to me is wearing full Cowboys gear, he's wearing a jumpsuit, Cowboys hoodie, Cowboys sweats, got a Cowboys hat on. And I looked over at him and I was just like, bro, I was like, tough. And we had a little exchange, mainly talking about the defense, a lot of talk about Jerry. And then 2 minutes later, this fucking dude walks by and looks at him and goes, how about them Cowboys, dog? And he fucking spun his head around and looked at me, and I go, you trying to meet him in the fucking bread aisle right now? What's up? And he's like, fuck that dude, man. Fuck that dude. I'm tired of hearing this shit. And I was like, bro, me too, dog. But we got nothing to say. We got nothing to say.
Nothing at all.
It was a tough moment. It was a tough moment.
What else did you do?
I banged this dude
in the aisle. What are you talking? That's crazy.
No, that was in the fruit section. That was in the produce section.
All right.
Bananas.
I mean, trust me, there's no bond like sports fandom, you know? It's a driving force.
Yeah, I mean, we went from not talking to having a conversation very in-depth about what the future of our franchise looks like to willing to jump another individual in a grocery store because he was talking shit to us.
Yeah.
Like we're like, yeah, you know what? Like my kid will stay here with her mom. I can meet you around the corner. You just, we can sandwich him. Mm-hmm.
I've been getting a lot of, what is that shit? I hope the new year is treating you well. Been getting a lot of that.
Telling you, it's
catching
on. It's catching on.
I mean, yeah,
I can't
for like
wait
a one-day window. Yeah, like
I can't wait to I'm dropping that opening day.
I hope the new year treats you well.
Yeah, welcome into A's baseball. I hope the new year has been treating you well. Yep, can't wait.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on it a little bit. We obviously had to cite the journalist that broke the news, but the Edward Cabrera trade happened yesterday. And yeah, I guess Michael Lorenzen signing with the Rockies isn't as big of a story unless you kind of put it in the vacuum of that puts the Red Sox as the last team to sign a free agent this winter. But yeah, the Edward Cabrera trade, that was something that kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. And I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on it because I feel like teams are paying a premium for pitching that maybe isn't this. I guess teams are paying a premium for potential a lot this winter. Does that sound fair?
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it? I think that can be categorized that way to an extent. I also think that we look at like what the Angels have done with, you know, a guy like Grayson Rodriguez and what you're hoping to reclaim or hoping something that like resurfaces.
That's not necessarily a premium, but what about like the Shane Baz trade?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the fact that you're giving up pieces that are coveted in hopes that there's a turnout.
Yeah.
And those pieces that you're giving up. Yeah. I mean, we know how important draft picks are to teams. We know how important that stuff is. And to be parting ways with stuff like that, like, you know, top tier talent that has yet to emerge at the big league level, I think that's almost the saving grace of not having exposed those guys at the big league level yet is there's still that, you know, that prognostication effect. Like, well, who knows what this could be in the big leagues? Should this start to develop in this way? So, yeah, I think that's just... I think it's because it is becoming like the safer way, it feels like almost, to commit to starting pitching without writing the check.
Sure. In the case of the Edward Cabrera trade, I believe the Cubs gave up their number 1, number 11, and like a non like starter kind of prospect. But yeah, 3 prospects, 2 of which were notable. 1 being your number 1 prospect in your organization. For a pitcher that, you know, has spent parts of 5 seasons in the big leagues with very mixed results. And I would say, you know, like coming off the best season of his career, sure, but still, it's 26 starts. It's a 3.53 ERA, punched out 150 batters in 137 2/3 innings. So, I mean, like, yeah, like that's pretty good. Is that give up your top prospect? Good. Like, I don't know. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I mean, I agree with your first characterization. Just to go back to that, I think the Baz comparison is a really strong one to make. I think that, so Owen Casey's probably their best prospect who is close to the majors. I think they have an offensive setup that the depth that they have built organizationally allows them to part with exactly this sort of player to supplement a rotation that I think, like, I think I'm probably overly optimistic on the Cubs side of this trade, but I've been waiting for the Edward Cabrera trade pretty much all offseason, and I see what he is now, and that is a person that can help the Cubs, and I see what he could potentially be if they straighten a few things out, namely his fastball and the results that he's getting off of the pair of his fastballs, which is just fucking atrocious. But
everything else is nasty shit.
Yeah, like the results on his curveball are some of the best in baseball for a curveball. His changeup is like what he builds his success off of. He's one of a handful of people who throw a changeup more often than any other pitch as a starting pitcher last year. 5 or 6 guys only have done that or only did that last year, and with great success and sustain it. Like, it's a nasty ass pitch. And the fastball, while results-wise, or the pair of fastballs results-wise, are like among the league worst. I tweeted earlier that if you look at the highest WOBA for four-seamers and sinkers combined last season, it's Cabrera and a bunch of people who pitched their home games at Coors. Like, it's literally just Coors rotate, like the Rockies rotation 1 through 5, and Edward Cabrera at the top of that list. But it's not a fastball that's like sitting 92 or 93, and you're like, yeah, well, no shit, well, it's getting hammered. In theory, it could be nasty, I would say. And that the Cubs have had a lot of success getting a lot out of the pitchers that they've had come through. I'm really extremely excited about this trade for the Cubs, and I think that it's more likely that Casey is the strong side of a platoon outfield long term, particularly for a team with Cubs aspirations, than he is some sort of budding superstar that they just traded away. That being said, he could very well be the best or second best hitter on the Marlins this season, so you can certainly understand why they would be interested in making this sort of trade as well.
Yeah, for Cabrera, looking like you look at his arsenal, you're talking about a guy who's got 3 pitches with whiff rates north of 25%, right? And the slider, the curveball mainly are doing the heavy lifting there. The changeup, which you alluded to, Jayhay, does a great job of trying to make the 2 fastballs that much more effective. But when you have a guy that can generate the swing and miss that he can, especially with the 2 different breaking balls, and you have the ability to get him off the fastball with a changeup or induce weak contact with that changeup, that's what you're looking for. Swing and miss, weak contact, one of the 2 on that offering. But the 2 fastballs, those have to start playing better at some point in time, because to your point about the WOBA, those are 2 pitches that feature a plus 400 WOBA on each one of those, which is tough.
And I also wonder, like, given the like basically zero separation between his fastballs and his changeup, velocity wise, like, because like he's throwing his changeup in terms of frequency and velocity at a rate that nobody who's a starting pitcher really does in the current game. I do wonder, like, and I would defer to you guys on this, but like, is that a recipe to scrap one of the fastballs because like you're seeing so many things at 95 plus, or is it that you need to dial one back? I don't even know. Like, where do you go with that?
This is where you start to look at pitch profile, right? The movement profile, the life on these pitches. So if you're getting what you're getting from the curveball, right, and that's a 2-plane pitch, if you're getting what you're getting from that pitch, and you're also getting what you're getting from the slider, you almost now have to ask yourself, what do you feel more confident in deploying? Is it a 4-seam fastball that stays true, something that we can carry to the top of the strike zone and that we can blend in terms of the curveball or tunnel with the curveball? Because the slider is going to be effective either way, and the lack of effectiveness of the sinker doesn't lend you to go, well, you know what? If we can get this going, then that slider is going to be even nastier. That very well may be the case, but the slider is about as gross as it can be. And so from there, it's which fastball is going to complement the rest of the arsenal. Because we're talking about a fucking changeup that gets thrown at, 93 to 95 miles an hour, and a fastball
it averages 94.
Yeah, exactly. So we're talking about a changeup at 94. Like I said, anywhere from 93 to 95, and you've got fastballs that are a couple clicks higher than that. So from there, you have to start thinking about, and I just had this conversation on the Marine Layer podcast with Lyle and TJ, and we were talking about Brian Wu. And I was talking about understanding what your pitch presentation looks like to the hitter coming into the zone. So if you know that you have the ability to carry the fastball, you understand that I can pitch at the top of the strike zone. I can even pitch at the bottom of the strike zone while throwing the slider off of that, because I'm going to be tuttling the slider from the slot that I am, and that's going to be working down and away. I can throw that heater up at the top, and what do I throw off that? I throw the curveball off of that one. But if you have a sinker that is just sort of marginal and you're not getting the life that you want on that, and there's not a ton of separation in terms of velocity, well, now we're in a blender. Now those things are similar, and there's not enough separation of velocity, and there's not enough deviation and movement for you to identify this as the route that we need to go. So that's where you have to really ask the player, what are you more comfortable doing? And let's get in the lab and figure out what we can execute more consistently.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to throw away one of the fastballs, like, I think it's unequivocally the sinker. Like this past season, opponents hit 370 with a 583 slug off the sinker, and he put hitters away at a 6.1% with the sinker. And the four seam, like the slug was exactly the same. It's a 583 slug, but he's putting away hitters at 18.3%.
Well, think about it, and what's the whiff rate on the four seamer? Probably anywhere from 15 to 20%. My guess would be, and if that's the case,
four seam 18.1.
There you go. So 18.1%. So there's a solid chance that even just fucking around with that sinker has taken a little away from what that four seamer's effectiveness could be. And so now when you really start to hone in on that one and you can make it that much better, we're talking about a 4-pitch arsenal that allows you to generate a minimum of 20% whiff rate on each and every pitch. That's nice.
Yeah, and his sinker's his third most used pitch.
Yeah, and the sinker, I got to believe in, and you know what, like you would have to dive into this, like you would have to have, I guess not have to have, but you could go through film and look at, all right, what's coming first? Sinker, and then is that being backed up by the slider? Or is it slider that's been backed up by the sinker? So he's trying to create intersections. He's trying to X you up, as I say. If that's the case, how effective has that been for him? Well, the numbers bear out that they're getting to the sinker, and they're getting to it with some authority as well. So
he also doubled the sinker usage from 24 to 25.
And it didn't get better.
No, got worse.
So now you can go back and you can compare, and this is what I think they would do, is all right, now let's take a look at how we're deploying the fastball curveball combinations. Right? Like, are we having success with the fastball after the curveball after the fastball? And if so, then this might be the combination we need to hone in on, because there's a solid chance that even after the fastball upper rail, you can throw that slider. It doesn't have to be absolutely buried, but you could throw that slider away after a fastball on the top rail and get what you're looking for, get the swing and miss that you're looking for. So you don't necessarily need that runner, right? That 18 to 20 piece with H coming in on the righties. You don't necessarily need that. And against the left-handers, I mean, you guys could probably look this up right now. Like, it probably feels like he's throwing that sinker right onto the barrel of the lefty. And that ain't fun.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what the Cubs do with it. Because even despite like the sinker being as bad as it was the last couple of years, but specifically this most recent season, still had a good year. Like, it's more just a matter of health. Like, you know, we haven't even mentioned his health or anything like that, but that's gonna be the key ingredient to whether or not this is a good trade for the Chicago Cubs. Because even if it is a 5-pitch throwaway one, it's a 4-pitch arsenal. He has plenty to work with that's effective for him. But yeah, they need him to take the baseball at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, he could very well be somebody who's a candidate for the kick change. Just changing the orientation of the seam and letting the grip kind of, you know, go to work for him. And I mean, there's different ways to go about that. You try to put the ball this isn't the kick change, but you try to put the ball a little deeper in your hand if possible. So you kind of choke it off and you're able to generate the same arm speed and hand speed, but you're killing revolutions. Like there's ways to go about that. But you also want to be careful that you're not asking a guy who can blow 97 upwards to step off the gas pedal a little.
So now, I mean, how do you like that rotation now? Like Imanaga back in the fold, Taillon's there still. You add Cabrera. You got all-star Matthew Boyd.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably maybe the second best rotation in the division.
Jay?
Yeah, I mean, I love the deal. I love what it does for the rotation. I love the hypothetical idea that if these people are healthy and developing the way that the Cubs are anticipating, that, you really aren't asking Imanaga or Taillon to pitch the most important postseason games for you or the highest leverage games. And I think that's where those guys should be. And I know there's work to be done with Cabrera, and Horton's only going to be in his second season and all of that sort of stuff. But I really like how his addition, his upside is interjected into the rotation. And then you've got Justin Steele returning at some point during the course of the season. You would hope / assume, given his recovery timeline, and he is, on paper, maybe not next season in his recovery, but the best pitcher on the team. So, I think it's exactly the sort of trade that a team in the Cubs market, in their position, presumably with their goals, should be making. Trading a non-star from a area of depth for, in my opinion, a higher upside asset in a position of greater need and urgency.
Yeah, he has a wonderful opportunity, Cabrera, to be a high impact acquisition. Like this could bode very well if he's healthy and performs the way that he did. I mean, yeah.
And to Jared's point, like it really does. Like I'm not like just brushing aside the health stuff. I know that that's like, potentially very real and certainly something that he needs to prove on his end if this is going to work out for the Cubs. But, I also, we get on teams for not spending. And of course, I would like to see the Cubs spend more generally, particularly losing Kyle Tucker. But I am totally on board with the idea that this is a more attractive path for the Cubs right now, this specific trade, than going out and spending $200 million on Framber Valdez or $100 and whatever million on Ranger Suarez. Like I do understand where they're coming from on that, given, the general fragility of pitching, and they're taking the chances that they can get Cabrera healthy and in a position to thrive under them in a way that they were not able to under he was not able to under the Marlins.
Yeah, I mean, if you're put it like this, well, think about this real quick. Think about this. With the season that Suarez posted last year and what Cabrera posted last year, what would you rather be doing? Would you rather be giving up the prospect that you gave up or the group of players that you gave up to get Cabrera, or would you rather be paying the price tag that's going to come with Suarez?
Yeah,
because their seasons were fairly similar, and one guy possesses the ability to punch guys out maybe at a little higher rate than the other does. So in terms of a dominance factor, like man, it's you got to like the Cabrera move. Like you got to understand that this is a cost-effective, high impact, potentially high impact acquisition.
Have we gotten an update on Justin Steele? Like, I feel like it's just kind of, you get clipped and you just book it for 18 months.
Well, yeah, whether it's going to be, and this differs depending on the protocol.
Yeah.
Per the organization.
I don't know.
Because what he got
is first half optimistic. Or overly optimistic?
Probably optimistic. I would say probably leaning towards the second half, because in the first half, he could be pitching in games, but those games are going to be him bouncing back and him getting through a rehab process, right? Like, he's not going to be necessarily big league ready by the first half, but that could very well change, because didn't he got cut early?
Mid-April.
He got cut only 4 starts in. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, 12 months down the road, opening day, give or take a week and a half or so. And then from there, you've got 4 months. Okay. You can chalk up the first half.
Yeah. So
now we're 16 months into this thing. And by the time he's 18 months out, now we're talking second half where, that could very well, like, keep your eyes open, right? Because Justin Steele could be one of those guys we always talk about where, it's just like getting a high impact guy at the deadline. It's just like a big free agent acquisition when you get a dude like him back. So say, knock on wood, you hope everything goes well. There aren't many setbacks or hurdles for him to clear through this process, and he's able to show up and is ready to roll. Like, that could be dangerous for other people, not the Cubs, should the Cubs be in the hunt.
Yeah. It is it is going to be treated like that, which, if I'm a Cubs fan, I don't mind that,
No.
Like, if you're saying, hey, we're not going to make this big, bold move at the trade deadline for a starting pitcher because we have Justin Steele coming back. It's like, well, you're right. We do, like, he's going to be back in the second half of the season. And that's quite the ad. But all that to say, like the move a lot for the Cubs. I don't mind what they had to give up for Cabrera either. Like, that was very, it felt fair, it wasn't like holy overpay or like, oh my God, I thought it was a good move for both sides.
No, I think teams, look, anytime you're giving up your number one prospect, there's always going to be like, pessimism, I think, like, man, did we really have to go that route? What could have been? What happens if this guy turns into? And I'm here to tell you, and I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know. I'm not telling any of our listeners anything they don't know. Just because he was your number one pick does not guarantee that he gets to the big leagues, and does not guarantee that he's an impactful player in the big leagues. But with that being said, if you have a chance to, I don't want to say capture lightning in a bottle, but there's a lot to like about Edward Cabrera. There is a lot to like, and nobody knows these prospects better than their current franchise. And if they've made peace with what they think these guys could turn into, the moves they're willing to make in the positions that these guys play, they're looking at a guy who represents everything they need right now, which is support in that rotation.
Yeah. Jayhay, any other thoughts on the deal?
No, I've said all I need to say. I'm very high on it, and I understand it from the Marlins end as well, because they desperately, desperately need offense, and Casey will provide that.
Some people desperately need better help, and thankfully, BID is sponsored by BetterHelp. We love BetterHelp here, and the new year doesn't require a new you. Maybe just a less burdened you. And therapy can help more easily identify what weighs you down or holds you back by offering an unbiased perspective to better understand your relationships, motivations, and emotions. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the United States. BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. A short questionnaire helps identify your needs and preferences, and their 12 plus years of experience and industry-leading match fulfillment rate means that they typically get it right the first time. But if you aren't happy with your match, you can switch to a different therapist at any time from their tailored recommendations. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is one of the world's largest online therapy platforms, having served over 5 million people globally, and it works with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. BetterHelp makes it easy to get matched online with a qualified therapist. Sign up right now and you can get 10% off at betterhelp.com/baseball. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/baseball. baseball. Big thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode. Just a friendly reminder, tomorrow morning, Friday morning, right? Yes, today's Thursday. Friday morning, we will have a very, very, very awesome interview with Milwaukee Brewers manager Pat Murphy. Join the show, and we will be putting that out on our YouTube channel and on the podcast feed for your listening and viewing enjoyment. I will say, best interview of 2026, easily.
Yeah.
But I think it could hold up. I think we could get to the end of the line and it would still be a candidate for interview of the year.
Yeah, Murph's great, man. He's about as, and you guys will hear this when you're listening, but he talks about authenticity and just being your authentic self. And I don't think that shines true any brighter than when you talk to him. You know, I always go back to one of the conversations we had in the winter meetings years ago, where like he was just talking shit about people's shoe game. I mean, he was rolling through with some style. Like he is a solid human being, and you have no reason to not want to run through a wall for this dude after you hear him talk about what he expects and what he's looking for from his team and from the room. He's just he's a hell of a guy that I think anybody would be lucky to play for.
No doubt. Yeah. Murph's a real one. All right. Is there any like news and rumors you guys want to hit on before Family Feud time? I feel like, did we do Family Feud? No, we didn't do Family Feud last week, right? Because it was a holiday. Yeah.
No.
Is there any news and rumors that you want to hit on before we get to Feud?
No, not really. I guess one thing I did see floating around there was people griping about free agency for baseball taking too long. I think we've talked about this at times. Wanting free agency to have like finite window of operation. And I just don't know that that's good for baseball. I don't know that that's good for, I can understand from a fan perspective why you would want the excitement of things happening, but then there would also be a period that the conversation will go dormant and you would not have much to talk about other than just repeating yourself about how excited you are about what the future looks like and what this season's going to entail. And those things, the fact that they can change all the way up to spring training and even into spring training sometimes.
Yeah.
That's a layer of excitement that I know might have to be reasoned with. You might have to come to terms with that being exciting to an extent, but no, I do not think that there should be a window of operation for baseball free agency. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I think, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And sure, that's probably extremely player friendly because I understand that there's leverage to be gained and lost if you're sitting and watching a market play out over the course of January, February into March, you know. Because sometimes you can have talks about contracts and, hey, you know, we're supposed to have this conversation at this point. And, well, that conversation doesn't happen. Those conversations get pushed back. And then you start to realize, oh, okay, well, you know what? Things are starting to pick up. This is getting interesting. So you got to allow for that to happen.
Sure.
Completely agree.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know how you could pull it off is, I guess. Like, I'd love for there to be a deadline, but I don't know how you pull that off without fucking over the players. So I'm just not.
Well, no, that's the whole thing is you could put it in a window, but yeah, someone's getting boned and it's a player.
Yeah.
I'm also not convinced that this idea that like, if you condense all the action to the winter meetings, that baseball's actually getting that much more coverage anyway. Like it's dead smack in the middle of football season. The NBA is going on. Like, I just don't think, I think it's more beneficial, forget the player stuff, because that's obvious. And I agree. I think it's more beneficial to baseball to have the news spread out the way that it is over the course of 3-4 months than it is to try and condense it and be not even the headline news in most cases anyway, because the guys who break through, like the Sotos and the Otanis and those type of guys who are going to be somewhat transcendent news to begin with, that's going to happen regardless of when they sign. And so to me, you're not going to turn the Dylan Cease contracts, the Ranger Suarez's, the Bo Bichette's into national transcendent news, even if you condense it into the week of the winter meeting. So like, what are you accomplishing other than fucking the players over? And I would just rather have a steady stream of news over the course of months, because I do think Dallas is right. If you condense it all to a week, baseball's just fucking not being talked about for like 3 straight months and 2.5 straight months, and I think that's really bad business.
Yeah, I mean, we're still talking about, like you hear Red Sox fans crying about whether or not they're going to get a player at all.
Correct, but it's conversation, right?
Right, it's conversation. Yes, yeah. What's the matter? You all right?
The Red Sox have allocated the 10th most money this winter. They just haven't signed a free agent. So fuck.
Yeah,
that.
no, sure. That's yeah.
Welcome back to Baseball is Dead Family Feud. I'm your man, Justin Havens. That's what I should have said when Pat Murphy asked who I was.
I'm the host of Family Feud.
I'm the host of Baseball is Dead Family Feud, also known as your man, Justin Havens. So we're back. We've got it. Jake and I were talking about it offline. The results that the Discord provided, and we obviously don't determine these. Great spread this week. Should make for a great feud. We also have everyone's favorite lineup ready to go, which is Jared batting leadoff, Dallas closing it out. So really, the floor is set for a great feud. We've been off for a couple of weeks, but ready to get back into it. Are you guys mentally prepared? First of 2026.
What I don't appreciate is the gaslighting. Like, you have never fixed this fucking thing. Like, you and the discourse are not in bed together, just figuring out different positions to bend us over a barrel. The gaslighting is incredible. You go ahead and let's
not
pray
familiar
for
with
You basically
not familiar
prefaced
with the
it
term
by being like, "You guys are fucked. You guys ready?"
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's a great spread.
Yeah, it's a great spread. You're fucked.
Gaslighting.
Factoring in these 32 different options from A to B or from A to Z alphabetically, how would we like to take the first 10 to fucking land the plane?
We're so deep inside their heads, Discord. It's a beautiful thing. Dallas, pop those headphones off. Let's have those not work when you put them back on. Get mad about it. Throw off your game.
We'll do the whole thing. About it.
Yeah. Yep. All right, sir. Are you ready?
Let's see. Let me sit up.
Yeah, I would be.
Yeah, let me get close to the camera here. Yeah, sure.
All right. As always, you know this, but it's worth repeating that it's out of 100 BID Discord fans. Question number 1. How many candidates will be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame by the BBWAA when it is announced on January 20th?
2.
Question number 2. Which player, age 25 or younger, would you choose if you were building a team from scratch? The contract status of this player right now does not matter for this conversation. Gunnar Henderson, James Wood, Ellie De La Cruz, Corbin Carroll, or Julio Rodriguez?
Gunnar Henderson.
Question number 3. The Blue Jays and Mariners battled in the 2025 ALCS, as you may remember. Excluding those two teams, who would you say is the third best team on paper in the AL right now for 2026?
The Yankees.
Question number 4. Rounded to the nearest 10%, 10%, 40%, 70%, etc. What percentage of New Year's resolutions would you say end up being successful?
20%.
Final question. Which team will make the postseason next/first? The Rockies, the Pirates, the Marlins, the Angels, or the White Sox?
I'm going to say the Marlins.
Okay. All right. Pop him on DB.
He's not paying attention.
No, it never does.
His forehead is screaming. You got me? Yeah. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Good luck.
Sorry, Matt. Do you want to know his total or no?
No. You know what? No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Are you ready? As always, it's out of 100, DB. You can hear me, right? Yep.
Yeah, I got you.
You weren't just saying
no
no to the ghosts, right?
Oh, no. I can hear.
Question number 1. How many candidates, we're looking for a number, will be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame by the BBWAA, venerable institution, when it's announced on January 20th?
2. Fuck. Really? Already? 1. It's fucking 2.
I know. Well, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Which player, age 25 or younger, would you choose if you were building a team from scratch? The contract status of this player does not matter for this conversation. Gunnar Henderson, James Wood, Ellie De La Cruz, Corbin Carroll, or Julio Rodriguez?
Ooh, fuck. Oh,
Yeah.
Gunnar. Give me Gunnar. Fuck.
I know.
Ellie. Give me Ellie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sticking with your MVP pick from last year. I respect it. Question 3. The Blue Jays and Mariners battled in the 2025 ALCS. Excluding those two teams, who would you say is the third best team on paper in the AL right now for 2026?
Ooh. Out of the not the Blue Jays, not the Mariners.
Correct.
Could it be the Red Sox?
You could try those two if you wanted to again, but yeah. Oh,
No.
Did you say Red Sox?
I said the Red Sox.
Okay.
Well, fuck, you said on paper right now. See, I'm factoring in the acquisition that's come. God, I fucked that up.
Dumbass. You're probably going to get a lot of points, though.
Rounded to the nearest 10%, so 10%, 40%, 70%, etc. What percentage of New Year's resolutions would you say end up as successful?
20%. Are you fist fucking me?
That's hard to do.
10% then. Are you fucking serious? Is that 3?
Yeah. Final question. Which team will make the postseason next/first? The Rockies, the Pirates, the Marlins, the Angels, or the White Sox?
Is it Jayhay? You know the answer. Give me the Buccos, baby.
Oh, I thought that was the Angels. Okay. I'm glad you clarified. All right. Let's see what we got here. Question number 1. How many candidates will be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame when it's announced in 12 days? Jared said 2. Dallas also tried for 2. 2 was the number 1 answer. That's 37 points right off the bat. So there you go. If you are curious, folks, for those listening along, as of right now, the update would agree with that, with 34.9% of ballots known per the Baseball Hall of Fame tracker and Ryan Thibodeau. Beltran and Andrew Jones would make the Hall of Fame right now at 88.5 and 83.1%. Chase Utley is third at 66.9, and given how these things tend to go, that means that he has virtually no chance in making the Hall of Fame right now. So yes, it's probably a 1 or 2 thing, whatever. Dallas said 1. Pivoted the wrong way, unfortunately. 3 would have gotten you 32 points. 1 got you 8 points, even though I think technically you're more likely to be correct. So between those two, we're up to 45 points through question 1. That's good stuff.
Good start.
It's a good start, though. It's a good start. Question 2. Which player, age 25 or younger, would you build around if you were trying to? You guys both want Gunnar Henderson, for what it's worth. I think that's the right answer, personally. So does the Discord. They awarded 30 points to Gunnar Henderson with the number 1 overall answer. There was a pretty interesting spread on this one, though. Dallas wanted Gunnar. He pivoted to Ellie. He pivoted to the bottom of the list, interestingly enough. Yeah, I'm a little surprised, but Ellie De La Cruz received
Corbin
the fewest,
too?
the least amount of support with 13. So you guys add another 43 to the docket. You are at 88. Through 2 questions, which is very good. Corbin Carroll was, yes, the number 2 answer with 27. Julio, 16. James Wood, 14. And as I said, Ellie, 13. Not sure how I feel about the non-Gunner answers to that question. I think I might still choose Julio, actually, with the defensive component. But nevertheless, nobody asked me. Question 3. The Blue 88 points through 2. The Blue Jays and Mariners battled it out. Who's the third best team on paper if we assume for a second that those are the 2 best teams? Jared said the Yankees. Not much confidence there. It was the second most common answer. It got 13 points, so we are up to 101. Solid work. Dallas, playing to the crowd, accidentally said the Red Sox, factoring in future moves that they have not made yet. Sometimes you're rewarded for your silliness. 47 points, the number 1 overall answer. We're up to 148 for the duo through 2 questions. You guys need only 52 points over the final 2 questions and 4 answers to wrap this one up. It would take a pretty impressive collapse to not get the job done there. Rounded to the nearest 10%, what percentage of New Year's resolutions would you say are successful? Jared said 20%, so to Dallas again, that was the number 2 overall answer, 33 points, so you get a huge chunk of what you needed right there, move all the way up to 181. Dallas pivoted to 10%. He pivoted to the number 1 overall answer. You guys win without even needing the last question. Look, turns out the spread was too generous for you guys. 36 points for 10%. So you get up to 217 with that. The final question. So you guys got the top 2 answers there pretty easily. The final question: which team will make the postseason next/first? Jared said the Marlins. That was the second most common answer with 32. Dallas incorrectly said the Pirates, but once again was rewarded for the wrong answer with 42 more points. That's 74 more points. So you guys finished the day with 291 points.
Wow.
Oh, domination.
Wow.
The White Sox third with 18, Angels fourth with 7, and the Rockies got 1 lone little vote.
Here come the Buccos, baby.
But you guys start
Here
off,
come the Buccos.
You guys start off 2026 with a Family Feud victory, so you guys should feel really good about that heading into the weekend. Congrats to you.
I feel great about it.
Yep.
Feel fantastic about that. Ship is headed in the right direction, some would say.
Well,
yeah.
And Murphy was asking, how I started out or whatever, and it was, of course, as the producer, and one of my jobs still as a producer is to make sure you guys are in the right headspace, right? Just like Murph's got to make sure that his guys are in the right headspace, get you guys started with a victory, vibes are good, then I'll come next week and just
That's what's
crush
coming.
you.
Yeah.
That's intentional.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, it's never intentional
sabotage.
because,
Oh, no, no, never.
Never intentional.
Yeah.
I would get in the mindset, though, to order 8 or 9 things for one question, So
This chart-topping hit from the 90s really sets the tone.
Corey hates
What
those
is it?
questions too. He hates those because they're harder to format. But I got to do what I got to do. So
Sure.
Incredible.
All right. Again, interview with Pat Murphy dropping on Friday morning. Check it out on YouTube, on the podcast feed, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen. Very much worth your time. He's incredible. We'll be back on Monday. Justin Havens, do you have any Nuggs, award-winning Nuggs for us?
I do. We teased the Vern Law 1960 Cy Young Award win. We'll be doing that Monday now. So you can look forward to me taking away. Oh, I'm sorry. Assessing whether we should take away Vern Law's 1960 Cy Young. Some random ass Nuggs. that are not necessarily related to anything specific. 8 batters in MLB history racked up 80 or more B-WAR through their age 30 season. The B-WAR totals for that same list of 8 players. Mike Trout got me thinking about this morning, and I do think about Mike Trout every now and then. Just 5.5 wins above replacement from his age 31 to 33 seasons. That's about half of the next lowest of that list of 8 people. So what he has done after the start, we all know it at this point, and I'm sure Angels fans would be mad that I'm even mentioning it, but just another way to frame that's really kind of incredible. Alluded to it earlier, Edward Cabrera, highest WOBA allowed versus four-seamers and sinkers with at least 750 combined such pitches thrown last season. His 434 WOBA was the highest. Next on the list, Herman Marquez, Antonio Senzatella, Kyle Freeman, and Chase Dolander, all pitched for the Rockies, of course. Most changeups thrown at 95 plus miles per hour. Somebody noted it's not a good thing to have a changeup 90. I'm not saying whether it's good or bad. Say it's probably closer to good than bad, but Edward Cabrera threw 191 such changeups last season. Pete Fairbanks had 11 and Mizorowski had 4. Some other Edward Cabrera notes. He had the lowest average arm angle of his career last season. The whiff rate on his curveball has increased every season that he's pitched at Major League Baseball, going from 29% in 2021 in his debut to north of 45% this past season. He threw his sinker a career high 20.4% of the time. I know Jared mentioned something similar earlier in the pod. He reduced his walk rate from 15.2% 2 years ago to 8.3% last season, so basically has cut it in half. Obviously, 15% is untenable for a starting pitcher. He threw the ball in the zone, so related to the walk rate, a career high 48.8% this season. That's up from 41.5% 2 seasons ago. Set a career high for first pitch strike rate as well. A career low, aka best, for contact allowed out of the zone. And although, as you expect with most guys who throw as hard as he does, he allowed the 9th highest hard hit rate among qualified starting pitchers last season. And if you look at, I use this same stat when Sonny Gray signed with was traded to the Red Sox rather, but I will bring it out again because Edward Cabrera is on the list. The full list of pitches in 2025 that had a batting average allowed of 150 or lower, a whiff rate of 40% or higher from a starting pitcher, and was thrown at least 500 times. Edward Cabrera's curveball is one of 6 such pitches. The others are Sonny Gray and Crochet's sweepers, Yamamoto's splitter, Senga's forkball, and Rodon's slider. And those are the Nuggs.
Thank you, Justin Havens.
Yep.
All right. We will be back on Monday. Dallas, you have a final thought?
Yeah, you know what? Tomorrow I will be on eBay Live, Dallas Braden's Clubhouse, in association with Greg Morris Modern. We will be cracking wax. We will have our first rip of the season. So we've got some fun packs in store as well as some awesome products. So stay tuned for that.
Wow. You going to make a bid for that Pokemon card?
No, I just, like I said, I can't do it, man. Can't do it. I could not genuinely be interested in Pokemon. I'm not. I don't want to invest in it.
You too cool?
Yeah. No, not at all. It's just not something that I want to spend any brain power tracking, paying attention to. Just not for me. That's
too cool.
That simple.
Too cool, it sounds like.
I'd be doing the audience a disservice if that were the case.
Yeah. Well, it's too bad. Anyways, be back on Monday with more Baseball is Dead. If there's any breaking news over the weekend, maybe we can circle back and break that down. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? I do have one final thought. Jared, if you could just sit upright for a moment, could you just kind of and that microphone adjusted, if you could?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And maybe could you grab the microphone like this, maybe?
Why? What's up?
That's all I got. Thanks.
Why? What's up?
Nothing. I think it's just a beautiful visual for our fans, for listeners and viewers. I mean, it's one of my favorite T-shirts, and you just the microphone, the T-shirt. It all just kind of goes together, just blends. It's a beautiful black and purple pop. I love it.
I don't know what's going on here, so I'm gonna go.
Jayhay knows.
I'm gonna go.
We out.